All right, let's go through the CD collection. I keep my CDs. Yeah, we'll see how far we get. I keep them in plastic tubs. We'll see how many we get through. I want to keep this at about 30 minutes or 30-40 minutes video. CDs. This guy has CDs. Yeah, I'm a music fan. If you count on streaming to get your music, you're not a music fan. So if you have CDs, if you have vinyl, then that's how you do it. Streaming, they can take stuff away whenever they want. They can play games. Plus, how do you really find all the cuts on the album when you're listening to streaming? The other thing that can happen with streaming, I'll give you one example. Def Leppard. They're kind of like the George Lucas special edition of music, and that's just one example. Their album Hysteria from 1986 or whatever, huge album, super popular, everybody loved it, tons of hits on the radio. They went back and like redid it, refixed it, fixed some of the stuff. How do you fix an album that sold like millions and millions of copies? So if you're streaming, you don't know what version you get. I know what version I'm getting. All right, let's get into it. 10,000 Maniacs. Natalie Merchant's awesome. 10,000 Maniacs definitely has some good songs. Not one of my favorite groups because, and this is just my opinion, I might listen to this whole album and there might be like 2 good songs on it. But the good songs are great, so I've got a couple of their albums. Let's see which song this one. Yeah, These Are the Days. What a great song. So, yeah, I got a couple of their albums. I'll talk about the ones the groups that I really like and the ones that I don't. I was a big Tupac fan when I was young. This was probably his best album. Doesn't really hold up. Tupac doesn't really hold up. Talks about being a thug, shooting, tonight I die, calls all the women the B word. Not sure why he's so revered in terms of being some social commentator when all he talked about was like violence and death and stuff. But some great songs on this album. I mean, as rap music goes, this has some amazing songs on it. Death Around the Corner, I think, is on this one. Yeah, Death Around the Corner is a great song by Tupac, if you don't know. 38 Special. Come on, folks. This might be a greatest hits. I am guilty of getting a lot of greatest hits. I'll talk about the need to get the albums, but I am guilty of, if I'm not as familiar with a group, getting the greatest hits. And I believe this is really good. A lot of good songs on this. Yeah, 38 Special, a little bit unsung. They were a little more versatile than what we might think. All right, Paula Abdul, she had some good songs, especially Rush. I think that one song, yeah, Rush Rush. Amazing song. I mostly got this just for that, but there's a few other good songs on here too. Like Forever Your Girl is a great song. I don't know if this on this. Yeah, Forever Your Girl is a great song. So there's Paula Abdul. You know I had to have an AC/DC in here. Come on. And this is a good album. I believe this is sort of a greatest hits, but it's that Who Made Who from that, what was that movie with the crazy trucks that came alive? But yeah, this has got a lot of their kind of sort of greatest hits. You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells. But it has a Who Made Who song, which has a great guitar riff in it. I'll bet when you think of great AC/DC riffs, you may not think of the Who Made Who, but it's got a great riff. Bryan Adams, he was huge in the 80s, and rightfully so. This has got a lot of his good songs on it. Remember This Time, Everything Is All Right. Those kind of songs we may not remember. In Heaven, remember that song? or his duet with Tina Turner. So yeah, a lot of good songs on this one. What's next? We're just in the A's, folks. We got a ways to go. That's why we'll probably just do a couple bins in this video, but we'll see. Come on, Alabama. How good are they? How great were they in the 70s and 80s? Let's see what's on here. I know there's that one song, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band. Come on. Feel So Right, that slow jam they did. I haven't listened to this enough to pick out some of their lesser known ones, so I probably need to listen to this again soon. Yeah, a lot of greatest hits, but we'll get into some albums, and I'll talk about the need to get the album, even though I'm kind of violating my own prime directive there. Alan Parsons, I love that Eye in the Sky song, and there's some other good songs on here. Yeah, Eye in the Sky is such a cool, moody, atmospheric song. So I've got some Alan Parsons in my collection. I'll talk about the groups that I'm a huge fan of and the ones that I'm not. When I'm not as familiar with the group, I'll just get the greatest hits, unfortunately. And yeah, sometimes you'll see a duplicates in my collection that's completely by accident. What happens is I forgot I had it, and I see it like cheap, and I grab it, and then I get home like, oh, I already had that one. So I'm not like a weirdo that gets dupes. I just all by accident. This Allman Brothers, Live at the Fillmore. This is kind of a legendary live album. Wasn't that great in my opinion. But you know what is great? Their greatest hits. So many good songs. So many good songs. And as we know, the brother died young, and the group was not quite the same. But yeah, let's see if we can find some of those. Midnight Rider, such an amazing song. Melissa's a great song. There's one about like Sunday Morning. I think it's the Whipping Post. Yeah, but there's some good songs on this album. This is one of those albums you could put on and not hit skip on any of the songs. I think I just saw this one in like a used CD store or something and grabbed it. It's not that good of an album for me. I mean, if you're an America fan, I have nothing against the group. They got some good songs, but like Lonely People's a great song. But this isn't one of those where I just have to listen to it again. Unfortunately, same with Asia. And again, if you love these groups, I'm not hating on any of them other than my critique of Tupac there. But Asia, this one just didn't grab me, but they've got a couple songs that I absolutely love that are on here. Heat of the Moment, is that one of their songs? Yeah, Heat of the Moment. There's a couple other songs that I really love that are on here, but the whole album for me just didn't do it for me. But yeah, I got nothing against Asia. They put out some good stuff. Let's see what's next. Do you guys remember Audio Slave? Come on. What a rocking band. The guy from, shoot, what was the lead singer? What was that group he was from? Stone Temple Pilots, I think. And then the guitarist from Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. Couple of amazing albums they put out. Just rocking from start to finish. Crushing your eardrums the way you want to be crushed. Show Me How to Live, Gasoline. I mean, there's just so many great. Set It Off. So this one is just a self-titled, I think. But if you like hard rock, if you like AC/DC, that kind of stuff, you got to get the Audio Slave self-titled one. This one's also good, but not as good as that self-titled one. This is a Revelations, but this got some great songs on it too. Do you guys remember the Canadian band April Wine? If you don't, what kind of rock fan are you? I love their Harder, Faster album. That's the album of theirs I love. And then online, I saw these reviews saying, no, this one's better. This one didn't grab me. But April Wine, Harder, Faster, again, kind of like Audio Slave. If you like hard rock, this whole album is good from beginning to end. Maybe it's First Glance. Yeah, First Glance, I'm sorry. So First Glance is the one you want. The April Wine album, another one of those that's good from start to finish. Get Ready for Love, Hot on the Wheels of Love, Rock and Roll's a Vicious Game. Some of these you guys need to go look up if you haven't heard of them. Go look up April Wine, Rock and Roll's a Vicious Game. Such a great song. Yeah, these guys kicked ass, man. Come on. One of the best soul singers out there. Come on, folks. Anita, I think this is the greatest hits. One of the best to ever do it. Caught Up in the Rapture of Love. Come on now. Giving You the Best That I Got. Body and Soul. Yeah. If you like soul music and you don't have some Anita in your collection, what are you doing? Learn to Appreciate the Beach Boys Later in My Life. Got a couple like greatest hits of theirs. We know the hits. We know the big hits, but a couple of my favorites of theirs is God Only Knows, and there's another one. Let's see if I can spot it. Don't Worry Baby's good, but there's another one that I love. All right, I don't want to linger too long, but there's one more that I really love by them. And of course, all the ones we know, like California Girls and Barbara Ann and all those. And even Kokomo, remember that? So yeah, I got some Beach Boys greatest hits in my collection. You know how we do it. I was never like the Beatles freak, but you know, I love a lot of their music, so I've got some Beatles in my collection. This one, Magical Mystery Tour. Here's the White Album. We should all have this in our collection. Got some great songs. Rocky Raccoon. Yeah, Blackbird. Amazing dual album by the Beatles. That's not all the Beatles. We got some more. We got Sgt. Pepper's. How could you not have this? If you like music in any way at all, you gotta have Sgt. Pepper's in your... And then some people swear by Revolver. I like Revolver. It's got some good ones on it. That's when they started getting really experimental. Here, There, and Everywhere, I think, is one of the ones I like. Sometimes, sometimes the song titles are hard to remember. Yeah, I got two Rubber Souls just by accident. Let's see what else we got. We're still in the B's. We're not even out of the B's yet, folks. Abbey Road. As you can see, I got a lot of their later stuff. Yeah, Here Comes the Sun. So then I got this one got a few of their earlier ones. Come on, folks. You know the Bee Gees aren't just a punchline. They are an amazing group with some amazing songwriters. So you gotta have this in your collection. Nights on Broadway, Jive Talkin', and of course, like How Deep Is Your Love, Tragedy. So good, so amazing. Great group, legendary group for a reason. Pat Benatar, underappreciated, amazing voice. I recently watched an old MTV Music Awards from the 80s. Every single like live act they had on there was lip syncing. You know, all the big groups from the 80s. Pat Benatar came on there live, raw. She crushed it. She crushed it in front of all her peers. So yeah, she's got some songs that you might not remember that don't get as much airplay. Let's see if we can spot some. Hell's for Children, remember that one? Treat Me Right, Fire and Ice. Look at just one great song after another. Promises in the Dark, Shadows of the Night. What a great inspirational song. Yeah, super underappreciated, I think. I know we've all heard of her and we know her music, but I still think when you talk some of the greats, she's underappreciated. This album is mostly skippable for me. Don't remember if you're a big country fan, love to you, but I love In a Big Country. Amazing, incredible song. So it's worth it just to have that. And there's a couple other good songs on here, but In a Big Country, incredible lyrics. You gotta listen to that one if you haven't heard it. Come on, folks. Boogie Down Productions. You gotta. If you're any kind of rap fan at all, you gotta have some BDP in your collection. This one's got. Let's see. Love's Gonna Get Ya. That's a good song. There's a bunch of good songs on this one. So yeah, this is one of their better albums if you're not familiar with them and you want to check them out. Come on, this is about as good as it gets right here in the early to mid 90s. Just about every act you want to hear is on this record right here. Let's check it out. We got Babyface and Toni Braxton. Great song. Aaron Hall, Keith Washington, PM Dawn, I Die Without You. Hopefully everybody out there knows that song. Come on if you don't. Grace Jones, that's a skippable one. Boys to Men. Toni Braxton again, coming back with another hit. Johnny Gill with a great song, There You Go. Shanice. I mean, come on, this is as good as it gets right here. The Gods. The Real Rappers. They had to get rid of this kind of rap because this was too positive, this was too good, this was too strong. Brand Nubian. You got to have this album, One for All. I've got another one that's not very good, but this One for All album, top to bottom, great. So many great songs. Brand Nubian, One for All. All right, we're having fun here, folks. You know, we had to have Tony B in the collection. The Diva. The Girl from Maryland. Yeah, pretty much every song on here is good. You know, it's funny. Babyface was like a huge producer in the 90s. And I love these songs, but listening to them now, the production value is not that great. But it's still Toni Braxton, so she brings the fire and she makes it great. If you grew up in the 80s, you probably have this. It's got, of course, Don't You Forget About Me. It's got some other cool songs in there, some instrumentals, very 80s. Not one of my favorite 80s soundtracks. Hopefully we'll see some of the ones that I do love, but it's a pretty good one. Jackson Browne. So what's your favorite Jackson Browne song? Come on, Tender as the Night. Tender as the Night's one of the best. I don't care what anybody says. Let's see what else. Rock Me on the Water. Take It Easy, that Eagles song. Did you know he's the one that wrote it? He wrote that Eagles song, Take It Easy. He had the first verse and he just got total writer's block. He didn't know what else to do. So he gave it to Glenn Frey. Glenn Frey came up with the second and third verses and made a great rock song. Yeah, Late for the Sky. The Pretender's a good song, but Tender as the Night is my favorite song by Jackson Browne. If you're familiar with Jackson Browne and you don't remember Tender as the Night, go look it up. Go stream it or whatever you do. This album was important to me when I was in college, so I went back and got it again. Good album, good hard rock, got some good songs again. Okay, let's get into this. So the reason you buy the album, this is a good example. I'm making this blanket statement and I'm absolutely serious about it. The best song by every artist you know is a song that's never played on the radio. So in this example, and I'll talk about some others hopefully, but in the case of Bush, best song on here, there's a song called Alien. Might be, no, it's not Come Down. Yeah, Alien, probably their best song. There's another one on here too that you haven't heard, because everybody's heard of Machine Head and Everything's Zen. But as usual, with every single musical artist out there, for whatever reason, the best song is never one you've heard on the radio. And then the Razor Blade Suitcase album is just almost as good, just a pretty strong hard rock from beginning to end. Come on, you gotta have some Glenn Campbell in your collection. Wichita Lineman, Rhinestone Cowboy, Southern Nights, Galveston. By the time come on, it just bet every song I'm naming is great. So yeah, I got some Glenn Campbell in my collection. Hopefully you do too. Got a few George Carlin comedy albums. This one's funny. I mean, they're all funny. This one's good. This one has some stuff that you probably have never heard before on it. This special was on HBO. I don't know if you all remember. It's funny because he's in Jersey and he comes out and he just starts ripping on Jersey. He says, you know, New Jersey, the Garden State, if you're planting smokestacks. And about on his third or fourth joke, the crowd starts to turn against him because he's just crushing New Jersey. But it's George Carlin, so he's fearless. He doesn't care. Finally got this. For some reason, this is like out of print or something. But yeah, if you like the Cars, this is their best album. Again, one of those is probably just from start to finish, all good songs, all mixed up. Bye Bye Love, you know, Good Times Roll. A lot of great songs on this one. I think this is just their self-titled album and their best album in my opinion. And then I got this one because that other album of theirs didn't have my favorite song by them, which is, let's see if I can find it, Since You're Gone. That's my favorite Cars song. So again, it's a lot of good hits on here, but I love that Since You're Gone song. I'm giving you ones to go look up, folks. Go listen to Since You're Gone by the Cars. You probably heard it, but you might not have heard it in a while. Here we go. One of the best singer-songwriters ever. Underappreciated. Tracy Chapman. Her first two albums, incredible albums. And once again, some of my favorite songs by her you've not heard on the radio because everybody's heard Fast Cars and so forth. But let's see which one I like on here. Talking about Revolution's a great song. What happened to revolutionary music? It's gone now, but we had artists in the 80s still doing it. Yeah, on this second album, there's also a great song that I love by her. Her second album is called Crossroads. Crossroads itself is a great song. Freedom Now is an incredible song. And All That You Have Is Your Soul. Go find that song and listen to it. Yeah, my voice is cracking just thinking about it. Her later stuff didn't connect with me as much, but it's still Tracy Chapman. If you're not familiar with Tracy Chapman, or if you're vaguely familiar with her, one of her amazing abilities, in my opinion, I mean, she's a great songwriter, but her bridges are probably, she's got to be one of the best songwriters for the bridges. I don't know what it is. It's probably just an innate ability, but her bridges are incredible. All right, I got a lot of Chicago, but a couple of my favorite albums by them. I think this is their first album. Yeah, you gotta get some Chicago in your collection. I think this is their first one, although I thought their first one was called Chicago Transit Authority. And then this is 10, I think, or no, this is 11. This, for me, is one of their best albums. It's got this song called Policeman, Take Me Back to Chicago, Inner Struggles of a Man, Prelude, and Little One. Those 3 songs, incredible. Yet another reason to have the album or the CD and not stream it, for Christ's sake. These 3 songs blend together. So if you're listening to it on streaming, you're probably getting one at a time or maybe just one of them. But yeah, this 9, 10, and 11, they all go together, and incredible songs. It's kind of a shame what Chicago became after Terry Kath died, because their early stuff is so amazing. So I got this collection that's got like, I don't know, 8 of their albums on it or something. Clapton's one of those guys. Alright, I don't want to be a hater, but I'm being honest here. I'm giving you hot takes. I'm giving you my opinion, and that's all it is. Clapton's one of those guys where there's like 2 good songs on the album. 2 or 3 good songs. Bob Dylan's another one of those guys. So I'm never sure which Clapton albums to get, because they always have like 1 or 2 songs that I really like. So this one has... I don't know which one. There's a couple songs. Sometimes I don't know the names of the songs, but you recognize them when you hear them. But Slow Hand's definitely a pretty good album. It's got Lay Down Sadly. I love that song. It's got The Core. I love that song. You probably know The Core, but again, sometimes these guys, they give these weird song titles to their songs. The Core is an incredible song with an incredible riff, too. Clapton comes up with some of the best guitar riffs. Yeah, I love this Pretending song. That's why I got this one. And I think there's another one on here. Yeah, No Alibis. I think that's the other one I like on here. And I got some greatest hits by Clapton. Yeah. Joe Cocker, a great guy, great singer. Feeling Alright. Little Help with My Friends. That's a great rendition of a Beatles song, if you don't remember. So is Came Through the Bathroom Window. So there's two great Beatles interpretations that he did. Yeah, You Are So Beautiful. Everybody knows that one. Alright, am I embarrassed that I have this in my collection? I'm not sure. I was thinking about this earlier. I really loved Coldplay's first 3 albums when they came out. Maybe their music speaks to younger people, because I feel like there's no depth to it as you get older. But I love these albums when they came out. Kind of emo, but they kind of speak to what you might be going through when you're in your 20s and early 30s, but not timeless for me, so they don't really resonate when I go back and listen to them now. But yeah, I'll say generally speaking, their first 3 albums were all pretty solid. Alright, this album was about as big as it gets in the 80s, and it is a great album, pretty much from start to finish. Long, Long Way to Go is a good song by him that you may not know. And yeah, I got a couple of them by accident again. You know, you see it brand new wrapped for $4 and you grab it and then you realize, oh, I already have that. This one has that. Do You Remember is a good Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. Love that song. It's got some great lyrics. The video for that doesn't really fit the song, but the song really has some good lyrics in my opinion. And then here's his greatest hits. Here's a great soundtrack from the 80s. Now we talked about Breakfast Club, which doesn't really resonate with me. The soundtrack, the movie does, but this soundtrack from beginning to end, outstanding. Don Henley, Who Owns This Place, Eric Clapton, It's in the Way That You Use It. Mark Knopfler, instrumental, Two Brothers and a Stranger. I think there's a, what's his name? Robert Palmer song on here. Yeah, My Baby's in Love with Another Guy, I think is the Robert Palmer. This is a great CD, folks. Great soundtrack. Had to get some Sam Cooke. Haven't listened to this a lot, but there's definitely a couple songs on there that I really like. Probably need to listen to this one again. Uh-oh, I might get canceled for this one, but his albums were hilarious. Alright, probably one of my favorite groups. Their first 3 or 4 albums? I think their first 4 albums. Absolutely great, in my opinion. So we know some of their songs. We know Around Here. We know, what is it, Mrs. Jones and Me or whatever. But as usual, some of the ones that we may not have heard are some of their best songs. So like Sullivan Street is a great, great song. Omaha is a great song. This one is just as good or almost as good. This is their second album. Recovering the Satellites is a great song. Yeah, this is a good album. But their third album is probably my favorite of theirs. This album right here I could listen to on loop, and I did listen to on loop back in the day. This Desert Life is an incredible song. Mrs. Potter's Lullaby is an absolute magnum opus, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. High Life is an incredible song. St. Robinson and His Cadillac Dream is an incredible song. Just, yeah, Counting Crows, I'll go to bat for them. I think they're pretty bad in concert because the guy can't hit the notes. And it's not because he's getting old. He never was able to hit the notes that he could hit in the studio. This is also a good album by them. And then they kind of fell off, in my opinion. Uh-oh, I got some Creed in my collection. You guys are going to roast me. I haven't even cracked the seal on this one, but I do love a couple of their songs. Just, you know, good hard rock songs. But yeah, I can't swear by anything else. It might just be 2 good songs on that whole album for all I know. Creedence, what a legendary group. What a shame the way they, you know, the record company did them and made them break up, basically. But yeah, I got some Creedence. Jim Croce, what a legend. Yeah, some of these I've reacquired because I lost my whole collection about 10 years ago. But this, from what I remember, I think this is the greatest hits, in every song on here from beginning to end is good. Alright, music fans. Music fans know this is one of the best albums of all time. And of course that's hard to rank because there's so many great albums, but this is definitely one of them. Their second album's great too, but this first one, every song on here is amazing. Guinevere is a great song. If you haven't listened to Guinevere by Crosby, Stills and Nash, go listen to it. Wooden Ships, Lady of the Island's great. Yeah, what an incredible band. When Neil Young came on, I'm not some purist or something, but it definitely changed the group. So this is a great album, but you could kind of see things changing right away with this one. Teach Your Children, what an amazing song. Yeah, there's a Neil Young on here that's really great. Our House is a great song. But yeah, the group definitely changed, unfortunately. Still a great group. This one's good. You guys may not remember this one. This one's got the Southern Cross on it, I think. But Dark Star is a funky song that you wouldn't think we would hear from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Kind of a disco feel to it. Just a Song Before I Go. How great is that? Yeah, so they're still putting out some good stuff even after Neil Young came and went. Do you guys remember this one? This one holds up. It's very 80s, but it holds up. Let's see. Kind of made me don't say. Yeah, I may not recognize some of the song titles in this one, but if you listen to this, it's a good album pretty much from beginning to end. Does feel very 80s, but they were tapping into, what was going on at the time. Come on. Great songwriter. You got to have some Christopher Cross in your collection. And yeah, I just accidentally got 2 copies. Sailing. Never Be the Same. What a great song. Let's go on a slight tangent here. So with the 80s and MTV, and especially the 90s and beyond, it became about the look. So a guy like Christopher Cross would never have gotten a record deal in the 80s or 90s. And of course now, music's gone now, let's be honest. So we're very lucky that there was an era, the 60s, the 70s, where somebody like Christopher Cross, slightly chubby guy, kind of nerdy looking, incredible singer, incredible songwriter. Imagine if we didn't get all these amazing songs. But yeah, that's what happens when you corporatize a creative thing. Who remembers Crowded House? I had this album when I was young and loved those. There's several good songs on here, not just the ones we've heard on the radio, but a couple other good songs on there. Come on, everybody's got some Cure in their collection. This is a good album with some great songs on it. My favorite song, and maybe my favorite song of theirs, unfortunately, it was only on the cassette version of this. It's not on the CD version. It's called The Exploding Boy. Go look up The Cure, The Exploding Boy, or something like that. One of my favorite songs by them. But they have some other great songs that I love almost as much. But that's probably my favorite song by them. And again, who's ever heard of that? That's why you buy the albums. That's why you buy the CDs. To find the gems that will never get played on the radio in a million years and never get streamed either. This is my favorite album by them, but this one's pretty good. It's got Just Like Heaven, which is such an amazing song. Alright, and we're coming up on 40 minutes, so this is the last one for this batch. We're only into the C's here, folks. But do you remember this song, this album? Great album from beginning to end. Everybody's heard of Pictures of You and Fascination Street, but my favorite ones, I may not know the song titles, but there's a couple on here that I absolutely love that are not the ones that you hear on the radio and so forth. So yeah, this is one of those albums that is pretty much good from beginning to end. Alright, that's only the first 2 bins, but thanks for checking these out with me, and I'll see y'all next time around.